Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl and welcome back to my studio. In this video, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for making the Annaliese knit lace skirt from Layers Knit book. It has a waistband, it has a beautiful lace stitch pattern throughout the body of the skirt, and then it has a perpendicular edging that is simultaneously worked to the live stitches while you bind off. It's a really interesting technique that's fascinating for skirts, for shawls, for any sort of a project. So I think you're going to really enjoy learning this and imagining what else you can apply it to. Let's get started. The Annaliese knit lace skirt features Be So Fresh yarn, which is my 100% linen #2 sport weight yarn. The pattern comes in several sizes from 36 inches to 52 inches hip measurements, and all of the skirts are 28 inches long. This seamless knit in the round lace skirt begins with the drawstring casing and continues from the top down in a beautiful delicate lace pattern. The edging is worked perpendicularly to the last round of the skirt, which allows you to simultaneously bind off all of the stitches. This beautiful stitch pattern is worked over an 8 round repeat, and I'm going to show you how to do a couple of those rows. It's an offset pattern, so by showing you 2 of the lace repeats, you'll end up seeing all of the stitches that we'll be using in this project. We'll be repeating rounds 1 through 8 for the body of the skirt, and the repeat for round 2 is to begin with a yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 1. And that's what we will repeat all the way around. I'll show you one more repeat. Yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 1. And we'll repeat that all the way around. The repeat for round 4 is yarn over, knit 1, SK2P, which means to slip 1, knit the next 2 together, and pass the slip stitch up and over the last stitch worked. It's a double decrease. Knit 1, yarn over, and knit 1. And that's what we will repeat all the way around. I'll do one more repeat for you. It starts with a yarn over, knit 1, SK2P, which is to slip 1, knit the next 2 together, pass the slip stitch up and over the last stitch worked, knit 1, yarn over, and knit 1. And you want to repeat that all the way around. The edging is worked perpendicularly to the skirt. The last stitch of every odd row is joined to one live skirt stitch with a knit 2 together. Let me show you how we do that. Okay, with all of our live stitches still on our needles, I've done this in a flat swatch, but it could be done in the round too. It doesn't matter. You're going to want to leave all of your stitches on there. You're not going to bind off the skirt before starting the edging. We're going to cast on for the edging and work this way, sideways across. And so what we'll be doing is eating away at these stitches as we go. We're going to be knitting one together when we do a return row. Then we'll knit up this way. Then on the return row, we'll knit 2 together to remove one of these. So as we're moving in this direction, we will be binding off these stitches simultaneously as we go. Pretty cool, huh? So we'll start with knit cast on 7 stitches at the end of the row here. So we'll knit cast on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, row 1 is to knit 6 and knit 2 together. So if we have 7 stitches on our needle here, if we do a knit 6 and a knit 2 together, that requires 8 stitches, right? So one of the live stitches from the body of the skirt is going to be decreased or removed in this process. So we're going to knit 6, And then a knit two together is knitting our last edge stitch together with our live stitch from the skirt. Okay, so then we're going to turn our work, and now just working across those edging stitches, row 2 is to knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together twice, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 1. So we'll turn our work now, and now we're going to knit 7 and knit 2 together. Okay, and then that knit 2 together is one of our edging stitches with one of the live stitches from the skirt. So now we've bound off a second skirt stitch by doing that as well. And now we'll turn our work and continue working on our edging. I'm going to set this down after the next 2 rows to give you a visual. So we're going to go back to row 4, which is knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together 2 times, yarn over, knit 2. Okay, turn our work. And we're going to knit 8 and knit 2 together. Okay, so that knit 2 together is one edging stitch and one skirt stitch. So binding off another skirt stitch as we go. And so, actually I'll set it down at the end of the next row. So we're going to turn our work again. And row 6 is to knit 2. Yarn over 2 together 3 times. Yarn over, knit 2 together once, yarn over, knit 2 together twice, yarn over, knit 2 together 3 times, yarn over, knit 1. Okay, so I'm going to set this down so you can start to see what we're doing here. So we've got our live stitches from the skirt here, and now we have this edging that is worked perpendicularly to the skirt edge, and notice how we've bound off those first few stitches. Isn't that fantastic? So it's also a stretchy bind off. So if you want to use this on any kind of a project, this is going to not only give you a stretchy bind off, but it's also going to give you a really beautiful scalloped edge to your work. This would be great on a sweater, a blanket, a scarf, a shawl, you name it. It's an incredible technique. Okay, row 9 of the edging is to knit 9, knit 2 together. So that was knit 9, and here's our knit 2 together. One skirt stitch with one edge stitch. And we'll turn our work. Row 8 is to knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together 3 times, yarn over, knit 2 together once, yarn over, knit 2 together twice, yarn over, knit 2 together 3 times, yarn over, knit 2. Okay, and then row 9, our final row for the edging repeat, is to bind off 4 stitches. So we're going to knit 2 stitches to bind off 1, then knit another stitch to bind off 2, knit another stitch to bind off 3, knit another stitch to bind off 4. Let's bound off 4 stitches. Now we're going to knit the next 5 stitches. and knit 2 together, which will be 1 edge stitch with 1 skirt stitch. And by doing a bind off at the beginning of this row, this is what's going to give us our scalloped edge along the edging. So you notice that of the 9-row repeat, we kept increasing on every row, so it kept getting larger, and then on the last row we bound off a few stitches to create that scalloped edge. And I'll show you that on the skirt again so you can see what I'm talking about. So here we have that scalloped edge, and that's created by increasing out and then binding off at the end of the 9th row. So we're going to repeat rows 2 through 9 until you've worked across the entire length of live stitches of the skirt, and at the end of that you will bind off all the stitches and sew the beginning edge to the bind off edge. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel welcome to leave them for me in the comments. There are links in the video description for where to find the yarn, the book, the pattern, and everything else we talked about in this video. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you in the next video.